Hello students, in the quality of drinking water, the next parameter is what is called chemical characteristics. Okay, first we discussed about physical characteristics. In today's class, we are going to discuss about chemical characteristics, right? So chemical characteristics are related to solvent capabilities, right? These are going to related to the solvent capabilities, right? So those are pH and acidity, alkalinity, total dissolved solids. Simply you can call it as TDS, right? So then alkalinity, hardness, fluorides, chlorides, sulfates, dissolved oxygen, metals, organics, and then nutrients. Okay, let us see one by one. The first thing is pH. pH is going to indicate the concentration of H plus ions, right? So H plus ions in the water, right? If you see H2 is going to dissociate into H plus and OH minus ions, right? So from this, if you write a ionic equation, right? So consisting of H plus plus OH minus divided by H2O concentrations individually, H2O concentration equals to 1. So this is equal to 10 to the power of minus 14, right? So now if it is denominator is 1 no, so then directly H plus and OH minus will be equals to 10 power minus 14. Then finally it is going to become pH is equals to minus log 10 H plus or log 10 1 by H plus. If they make 1 by H plus, minus 1 be there according to logarithmic principles. Then POH will be equals to log 10 OH minus or log 10 1 by OH minus. Then totally pH plus POH will be equals to the 14, right? Next, pH is equals to 7. Then it became as H plus ions is equals to 10 power minus 7. Then pH is greater than 7, it is called alkaline or base, and pH is less than 7, it is called acidic medium. We know that, right? So for high acidity, the value is 0. For high alkalinity, the value is 14. Okay? Then permissible limit for drinking water is 6.5 to S, what is called 8.5 according to IS 10500. IS 10500 2012, right? Next, pH is measured by the potentiometer or calorimetric method, or using in the laboratory we are going to do with the pH strips, right? And as well as the what is called indicator method also we are going to have, right? Next thing is acidity, right? So acidity is the capability of a water, right? So it is going to neutralize the base, right? So it is going to neutralize the bases. Next, acidity of water may be caused by the presence of uncombined carbon dioxide or mineral acids or salts of strong acids, weak bases, like that. Okay? It is going to express in terms of mg per liter in terms of CaCO3, right? We are going to express in terms of mg per liter as CaCO3. Okay? Next, acidity is nothing but representation of carbon dioxide or carbonic acids. Then carbon dioxide causes corrosion in public water supply system. Okay? Acidity it is going to caused by mineral acids, free of CO2, and also it is a supplement of iron and aluminium. Then acidity affects the tuberculation and corrosion of the pipes. Tuberculation means inside the pipes, okay, we will have irregular surfaces, right? So you have some solids which is going to, okay, so the pipe metal is going to damage and it is going to form like this. Okay, next thing, third one is alkalinity. Okay, so alkalinity is opposite to the acidity. The acidity is the what is called capability to neutralize the base. Now alkalinity is the capability to neutralize the acid. Okay, so it is going to neutralize the acid. Okay, next, it is expressed as the mg per liter as CaCO3. That also we studied. Same thing whatever we use it for the acidity. Okay, alkalinity also expressed in terms of mg per liter. Next, the various forms of alkalinity are hydroxide alkalinity, right? Hydroxide alkalinity, then HCO3 minus carbonate alkalinity, and we have the what is called hydroxide alkalinity, carbonate alkalinity, right? So hydroxide plus carbonate alkalinity, right? So carbonate alkalinity CO3 minus, CO3 2 minus, 3 kind of things will be there, mainly hydroxide, bicarbonate and carbonate. Okay, so which is useful mainly in the water softening. Softening means we are going to remove the hardness, right? So water may have hardness due to some kind of minerals inside it. Okay, So and boil feed water for the other process in industrial processes. Alkalinity is an important parameter in evaluating the optimum coagulant dose in case of coagulation process. That is going to discuss in the next unit. Okay. So alkalinity caused by the bicarbonates, okay, carbonates and hydroxides. Then alkalinity affects the incrustation. Incrustation of pipe means, okay, inside we are going to have the scale formation inside the pipe. Thereby it is going to reduce the size of the pipe. Next, sediment deposit in the pipeline, difficulty in chlorination. That means in disinfection. Okay. Next, fourth thing is total solids, suspended solids, dissolved solids. Okay. In the introduction thing, we already know that the size is having 10 power minus 1 to 10 power minus 3. It is suspended. 10 power minus 3 mm to 10 power minus 6 is colloidal. 10 power minus 6 greater than now, so that is called dissolved. Sizes also we know. Okay. Next, the sum of total foreign matter present in the water is termed as the total solids. Total solids are the matter that contains the residue after evaporating the sample. Right? If you take some 30 to 20 ml of sample in the China clay crucible, right? China clay copper crucible. Inside we are taking some amount of water, that is sample, and it is going to keep in the at centigrade of 103 to 105 degrees centigrade in the what is called oven, right? So after 24 hours, we are going to check its weight. From there, we can study what is the total amount of solids present in the sample. So total solids consist of both volatile and non-volatile, right? So volatile that means organic solids. Then we have a non-volatile means that is inorganic things. Further, solids are divided into suspended and dissolved solids. Okay. Next, suspended solids can be found by filtering the water sample through filter paper called Wattman filter paper number 44. Then solids that can settle by gravity are settleable solids. So this can be represented by this to be measured in terms of wastewater only, not for drinking water. The other are non-settleable solids. IS, right, Indian Standards actual limit for total solids is 500 mg per liter and total limit is 3000 mg per liter of dissolved limits, right? In TDS, for TDS it is the limit. Next, so permanent limit is 5500 to 1000 ppm or mg per liter. Next, hardness, right? So hardness is very important parameter in the for water. So it is going to prevent the formation of lather or foam, right, with the water whenever you are using the soap, right? So water unable to give the lather, that property is called, right, hardness. So it is going to cause the scaling of boilers. That is, inside the boiler we are going to observe white scales, great water soap consumption, erosion of incrustation of the pipes, then food to become tasteless, or some of the effects of hardness. These are the effects of hardness. Next, hardness is going to be classified into two types. One is carbonate, another one is non-carbonate, right? So carbonate hardness also we can call it as temporary hardness. Non-carbonate hardness is going to call as the permanent hardness. Okay, so temporary or carbonate hardness, so it is going to caused by the bicarbonates of carbonates or bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium, right? So it can be removed by some extent by simple boiling, right? So it is going to remove by the simple boiling or addition of lime. Okay, by using lime we can remove the temporary hardness. Then coming to the second one, permanent hardness or non-carbonate hardness, it is going to caused by the sulfates, chlorides, nitrates of calcium and magnesium, right? So it can be removed by the water softening process. Softening means removal of hardness. That methods are contained: lime soda process, demineralization process, and geolite process. Okay. Next, permissible limits for hardness. Okay. For boiler feed water, 75 ppm. For drinking water, 75 to 115 ppm. If hardness is greater than less than 75 ppm, water is called soft. If it is greater than 200 ppm, it is called hard. Right. Next, hardness is measured by in the laboratory. We are going to use the EDTA test. This is done by the EDTA means ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Right. So in the titration process, we are going to use the ferrichrome indicator, black tea indicator. Okay. So it is going to show the end of the titration. After determining the amount of calcium and magnesium ions present in water by titration process, okay, percent solution, the following formula is used. Okay. So total hardness mg per liter as CaCO3 will be equals to ions of bicarbonates in mg per liter or combined weight of CaCO3 divided by combined weight of bicarbonate plus carbonate in mg per liter concentration, then combined weight of CaCO3 divided by combined weight of CO3, right? So where the combined weight is this one, molecular weight by valence, okay? Next, that is equivalent weight also you can call it as. So molecular weights will be, we know, for calcium 40, okay? So magnesium 24, right? So strontium 87.6, okay? So like that we know all the weights. So then you substitute in this equation, we are going to form Ca into 50 by 2 plus Mg multiplied by 50 by 12, right? So next, total hardness will be equals to, we know that one is carbonate hardness, another one is the non-carbonate hardness. If non-carbonate hardness will be equals to total minus carbonate hardness. If total hardness is greater than alkalinity, then carbonate hardness is equals to alkalinity. If total hardness is less than equal to alkalinity, then carbonate hardness is equal to total hardness, and NCH is non-carbonate hardness is equal to 0, right? So hardness is expressed also in terms of degrees of hardness. One British degree of hardness equals to 14.25 ppm. One French degree equals to 10 ppm. Next one American degree equals to 17.15 ppm. Then alkalinity in mg per liter will be given by the equation what you discussed previously. Okay. Next, the seventh thing is chloride content. Okay. So chloride ion may be present in the combination with one or more cations of calcium, magnesium, iron, and sodium. If it is present with sodium, no, we are going to get NaCl. Due to this, water is going to taste salty, right? So these may be present where they have high solubility, right? So because of high solubility in water, each human being consumes about 6 to 8 grams of sodium chloride per day, a part of which is discharged through the urine and as well as the fecal matter, that is called night soil. Thus, excessive presence of chloride in water indicates sewage pollution and other human industrial waste, right? So highest value for drinking water is 252,000 according to Indian standards. Then the present in the form of a sodium chloride, okay, and it is going to impart the salty taste to the water. Next, nitrogen content, okay. So these we can also call it as nutrient present in the water. Why it is called nutrient? Now, for plants, the major nutrients required, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, right? So among the nitrogen is most important. It is going to available in 4 forms, right? So let us see. It indicates the presence of organic matter and extent to which it is going to undergo decomposition. So different forms of nitrogen in water are, the first one is free ammonia, albuminous nitrogen, nitrates, nitrates, right? Nitrates, then nitrates. Nitrates means NO2, nitrates means NO3, right? So free ammonia indicates the presence of what is called undecomposed organic matter. It is going to represent the first stage of decomposition. It should be less than 0.15 ppm. Next, albuminous nitrogen is going to indicate the decomposition of organic matter started. It should not exceed 0.3 mg per liter. Okay. Next, nitrates indicates the presence of partly decomposed organic matter. It should not be present at all. It is most dangerous among all nitrous forms. Then nitrates indicates the fully decomposed organic matter. It should be less than 45 ppm. Next, excessive nitrogen causes a disease called methanohemoglobia, or we can call it as blue baby disease, where the infants less than 1 year now. So actually our blood is in the red color. If we have nitrates more amount of in the water, okay, these nitrates are going to react with the hemoglobin present in the water. So the baby skin instead of red color, okay, the baby completely look like a blue color. So whatever board look like, no. So that's why it is called blue baby disease. Okay. So next here one important thing is there one term is called gellar nitrogen. Here it is called free ammonia plus organic nitrogen. Common we can call it as total gellar nitrogen. Next main thing, metals and chemical substances. Okay. So first thing is iron and manganese. Iron is found in earth mainly as insoluble ferric oxide. When it comes into contact with this water, it is going to dissolve to form ferrous carbonate under favorable conditions. Okay, this ferrous bicarbonate is oxidized into ferric oxide, which is a precipitate under anaerobic conditions. Ferric ion is reduced to what is called soluble ferric ion, ferrous ion. So iron can be impart bad taste to the water and causes the discoloration of clothes and incrustation in the water mains. Okay, excessive iron and manganese is going to cause the discoloration of clothes, right? So next it is going to have the permissible limit. It should be less than 0.3 manganese should be less than 0.05 ppm. Okay. Next, copper, right? So it is going to affect human lungs and other respiratory organs, right? The permitted limit is 1 to 3 mg per liter. Next we have sulfates. Sulfates occurs water due to the leaching from the sulfate mineral or oxidation of sulfides. Okay, sulfates are going to associate with the calcium and magnesium and sodium ions. Sulfates in drinking water cause the laxative effect. That means free motion. Okay, so motions will come when it is having in water. Okay, and also laxative effect human body, diarrhea leads to, and also scale formations in the boilers. Okay, it also causes water and corrosion problem under aerobic conditions. Sulfate should be less than 50 mg per liter. For some industries, desirable limit for drinking water is 150 mg per liter. It may be extended up to 400 mg per liter. Okay. Next, the important thing is fluoride. So we come to in our state we have too much fluoride problem, right? So if fluorine is less than 1 ppm, okay, so it is going to cause the formation of cavities in the teeth. If it is greater than 1.5, right? So 1.5 ppm, it is going to cause a disease called fluorosis. That means discoloration of teeth and as well as bending of bones. That is deformation of the bones. Okay, the permissible limit for fluoride is 1 to 1.5 ppm. Next, last one is dissolved gases, where the important thing is dissolved oxygen. Okay, so nitrogen will be there, carbon dioxide, this is hydrogen sulfide will be there. These two cause the bad odors. Okay, so H2S cause the bad odor and taste. CO2 cause high biological activity and corrosion in the pipeline. Nitrogen gas indicates the presence of organic matter, and DO is determined by the Winkler's method. Okay, know the extensive position of the water, right? So DO less than its saturated level indicates the presence of organic matter. Therefore, the thing is got polluted. Okay, so for fresh waters, DO will be 9.2 mg per liter. For potable water should be between 5 to 10 ppm. Okay. Next, biological characteristics. That is third one, third parameter in this unit, right? So it is used for study of bacteria, virus, and algae. Bacteria, virus are single cell organisms. See the bacteria. So bacteria is going to have size between 1 to 4 microns. Bacteria is going to classify under different criteria based on harmfulness, non-pathogens and pathogens. Non-pathogens doesn't harmless. It is not going to cause any what is called diseases like Escherichia coli, or simply can call as E. coli bacteria. So a pathogen bacteria is called harmful. It is going to cause diseases. So detection of E. coli indicates the probable presence of pathogens and used as the indication organism. Okay. Next, based on the shape, it is going to have cocci. That is, cocci means some small comma shaped, right? So spear shaped, right? Next, bacilli is rod shaped. Spirilla means twisted rod. Okay, like this. Based on living conditions, aerobic, anaerobic, facultative. Aerobic means it is going to survive only in the presence of oxygen, right? So anaerobic is going to have the survive in the absence of free oxygen. Facultative means survives with or without oxygen. This classification is most important. We are going to study, right? Next, three types of test is going to detect the measured using coliform bacteria. That is total count, E. coli, membrane filter. First one, total count. Bacteria are cultivated in a medium called agar-agar solution or agar for different dilution of samples with the distilled water at a specific temperature and for certain period of time. The diluted sample is placed in the incubator, and that means normally 24 hours. Bacteria colonies are going to we can see on the, if this is the sample now, so you can observe bacterial colonies under the microscope or with the naked eye. Okay, so for drinking water, the total count should not be more than 1 per 100 ml. If you take 100 ml of water, should not see 1 microgram per 100 ml. Okay. Next, E. coli test. It is going to consist of 3 tests, that is presumptive, confirmative, and confirmed and completed. If gas is produced, that is called positive test. If the gas is not there, that is negative. Right. So third one is most probable number, that is MPN test. This is most important test for examination. It is going to tell the bacterial density which is most likely to be present in the water. It is going to use it to report the amount of bacteria in the water, right? So it is confirmed and complete tests are required for determining MPN. MPN should not be present in at all water. It should be 0, right? So microorganism plants also may be in the water, that is algae, plankton. So these are going to cause the bad taste, odor, right? And also interface with the smooth working of filters. Okay, copper sulfate is mixed with the water to control the algae growth, right? So finally we are going to have the water standards, drinking water standards, highest 10,500, right? So the things are is like this. For pH value it is 6.85 to 8.5, turbidity 1 to 5, TDS 500 to 2000, total hardness 2000 to 600, sulfates to 2000 to 400, magnesium 30, okay, maximum only, nitrates 45, chlorides 250 to 1000, residual chlorine 0.21, calcium 75 to 200, total alkalinity is 200 to 600. Okay, these are the very important things for, okay, examination point. You can even add fluoride 1 to 1.5, iron less than 0.1 ppm, right? So all those things, and MPN is should not be there in the water and should not be less than 1 per 100 ml, right? So these are the things. Okay, so these are the quality, that is third unit. It consists of physical characteristics we discussed in the last class, and today's class we discussed about chemical, and the third one is biological. Okay, so and also after that we have drinking water standards, that is IS 10,500. According to IS 10,500, these things also we discussed. Okay, so that's all for today. This is the third unit. Next class we are going to start fourth unit. Thank you.